What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Starmade. Today we are not on the Shattered Skies server. The server's been having a few issues since the Shipyards update, but I was able to jump in briefly long enough to grab a few of my blueprints and show you what I've been working on. So everything that you're going to see is exactly how it is on the Shattered Skies server right now, except for the fact that I am at a new system, and with a new system comes a new base. Aw, that did not delete as well as I thought it would. I thought if it overheated, then the turrets would overheat with it, but I guess not. So, there's that. So, this is the start of my new base in a new area that does actually have some blue asteroids. Not that blue asteroid, but, you know, like I said, playing in single-player mode, checking out creative, and also I've just downloaded the +9's texture pack. And oh my god, that thing is amazing. I'm so excited to use it. In fact, if I can't convince the guys on Shattered Skies to implement the pack, then I don't know, I might have to take my stuff into single player creative. I really don't want to, because man, I wish they would implement that pack into the default game. There's so many cool things, numbers, borders, all kinds of decorative blocks, and it's absolutely sick looking. So anyway, back to what I've been working on. You can see here on the Broadside, this front area has been completely redone. This is actually not a large, but a decently sized salvage beam. Originally, the Broadside was going to be a kind of a weaponized trade vessel, and now it is kind of running the tow of a mercenary ship. And there's a few things that kind of speak to why that is. The first off, you know, of course, the salvage beam makes it multi-purpose. Second, I'll go ahead and show this off here. This is kind of nice. Yeah, that's on, so boop. This is for when you open up all the let's try that again. It's for when you open up all of the doors on your ship, which there are now quite a few of them to help prevent boarding. And this one block is slaved to all of the doors, so whenever you jump in, all you gotta do is double tap it there, and pow. Now you're set. Now you are locked in good and tight. Unfortunately, I've not done a lot of work on the interior. I'm kind of begrudgingly saving that for last as I figure out exactly what I want to put in this ship. But I do have a pretty good chunk of the ideas figured out. Over here on the sides, we have a kind of a captain's and officer's quarter. It's mirrored on both sides. I actually think I have a little bit of stuff. Yeah, a little bit of stuff over there. So I was between moving from one home base to a new home base, that ate up a lot of stuff. Additionally, this doesn't look good now. It looks a lot better when I was undocked. So now you get to kind of see what that is there. Yep. So I'll go ahead and show that off. Let me exit this here so that I can do it. And this one. Alright. That should, yep, there it goes. Got a little secret cargo area here for all of your, you know, whenever you need to hide some precious cargo, hide it under the stairwell. There's also an exit button on a timer, which I think you've got to click twice, maybe? Yeah, there you go. And it's on a little timer there, so you can click it twice and get out. One thing that I've noticed that I'm actually a little bit saddened by is the fact that lighting is dependent per object right now. So these lights here on the sides don't actually affect this object. And let's see, if I undock here. Huh, earlier it actually looked a lot better, and I thought that maybe that was taken care of, but apparently not. So let's just redock here real quick. I thought that had changed. It actually looks worse now than it did before. That's why I have these extra lights on the back. They were, the light kind of bleeds through blocks, and it was getting pretty close to match. So I guess I'll have to look at that again. Anyway, in the engineering bay, I have taken care of these items, which I now am basically calling, like, exobyte solid-state hard drive kind of things. You know, fit a couple of whole internets on each of these. But, you know, if you need to deliver internet to a planet, you know, that's an important thing. That's considered precious cargo in my book as well. And the other big change to this thing is something that took me literally almost the entire week to work on, because I'm not all that proficient with logic, but I'm getting there. And here it comes out here now. Oh man, It was a lot of work getting all of the pieces of this to fit just right, with, at least in my mind, as little logic as possible. I still have quite a bit on there because I have a couple of safeguards in place. But yeah, this is, and we'll get all the way out here. This is kind of my pride and joy right now. This was a huge endeavor. Again, like I said, there it goes, boom! And the door closes back up here. There is a hole in it right now just for testing, really. But yeah, this is the cargo bay arm. So that I'm really excited about. It was so much work. It's mostly, getting these 45s to work on logic timers and making sure that it doesn't, it doesn't bash into itself here. So there it goes. It pops up, waits a couple seconds, the doors pop open. Actually, the rails, a lot of it is controlled by a single logic button attached to the end of this rail here. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it right there. So when the there's a couple of logic buttons on the rail. So when the rail is all the way retracted, then it activates that button and closes this front door here. Additionally, when it's all the way open, it hits this button here, which will close the door and sends the wireless signal for the arm to deploy. So that is because that means that it's all the way at the end of the system. I didn't have to worry about any logic blocks or anything like that. Now, I do think that since my ship button is on, I should probably go ahead and re-extend this. Not a whole lot of work on the exterior. Like I said, I spent almost all week working on this stupid cargo arm. I don't know. It doesn't serve much of a purpose, but I still love it anyway. Like I said, this is I'm trying to put more RP into my ships because that's what kind of brings them to life. I mean, you can have an awesome exterior and just chock it full of blocks with a single hallway to your core, and that doesn't really, I mean, it looks awesome, don't get me wrong, and, it's definitely combat worthy, but in the end, I mean, there's really, you gotta pick your battle on Starmade. You're either a PvPer, and you build, ships, you min-max for death and destruction, or you're an RPer and you're just here to build cool things and bring them to life. And that's really more where I am. I dabble in both, don't get me wrong, but I like making cool spaceships. Always have, playing with Legos, making cool spaceships. That's what I do. So, yeah, updated a little bit of the lighting in this room. I still have a little bit of work. I want to kind of clean out some of this. Wall is really blank, and I have some room. I can kind of dig into I think most of this is jump drive systems, yeah. And I still have tons of room inside the gun arms here. Gun arms, the guns. They're not really arms at all. So, actually, maybe I don't. Did I eat up a bunch of that space? Oh, yeah, I did, actually. I put way more jump drives in there. I still have quite a bit of room, though. I could throw in some effect. I'm kind of torn between doing, like, some overdrive passive effect or updating the cannons with maybe explosive or something like that. So, I'm going to turn off lighten mode. There we go. Other than that, the base I want to make a shipyard out of. I've got some kind of cool, neat, different ideas for that I would like to try out. And then this little guy here, I kind of like. I started with the, I need a new salvager, of course, because new home base, new area. And I like having this pod on the bottom, because, I'll go ahead and show that off. I wasn't going to show it off because it's not much, but then I realized that because it's not much, there's really not much to show off, so it won't take that long. Oh, why don't I have a core anymore? I had a core earlier. Huh. That's weird. Okay, well, this will take just a second. There we go. I didn't really like the idea of creative mode before, because I'm just one of those players who kind of has to do everything on their own, and I feel like it takes away from things. But that's really just for, on the server. I wouldn't want access to, admin blocks or creative mode on the server. But in single player, man, it's really nice. And especially, whoa, Easy there, buddy. Especially because of the way new shipyards work. I actually really like the fact that there is a default creative mode in there, and yet it still keeps its survival elements. So, here we go. Oh, yeah, this is what I was going to show off. One, the cockpit view, really kind of cool. And two, when you're in the cockpit flying it around and you want to salvage some stuff, it's a good way to keep from blinding yourself to have the pod down here on the bottom. And it cleans things up pretty well. The code name for this guy right now is the Guppy. I think I'm actually going to shear it off back here and add some engines on it and try to make it look nifty. And then, of course, detail out this salvage array with some kind of cool salvage cannon-y look. Yeah, so that's about it for right now. Of course, you know, I'm really excited to get in and work on the shipyard. I'm also just kind of scared, though, because I don't want to have to transfer things back and forth between single player and the server. But at the same point in time, I really, really, really want to use those new blocks from +9 because they are gorgeous. And I'll go ahead and throw a link in the description to that texture pack. It's an expansion pack, so it doesn't replace any of the default textures. And oh man, it looks absolutely incredible. I know I'm just going on about that. So anywho, if you liked it, tell me so. Throw something in the comments or send me a like or something. If you are interested in joining this Shattered Skies server, keep an eye on the Google Plus right now. Like I said, there's currently a really nasty bug revolving around it's something along the lines of like if you save while in gravity of a planet and then you relog back in, it just causes a nightmarish, you know, it like crashes the server and stuff. So it's really no fun. And with the fact that we just had a new update that brings a lot of new players to the server, and with that comes a lot of new players trying to make bases on planets, and then yeah. So until that gets fixed, keep an eye on the Google Plus if you plan on joining. And you know, I don't want anybody to pop into the server and, you know, have a bad time, because it really is an amazing server. The admins are doing a fantastic job of trying to keep on top of everything and keep the server running. But for some reason, this latest update has kind of thrown a wrench into the works as far as that is concerned. Regardless, it'll be in the description. Come check us out. And as always, keep building.